Republicans are leaning very hard on the idea that there is no precedent for holding an impeachment trial when the president has already left office. What Democrats will argue here is that impeachment is a process. It starts in the House and it moves into the Senate, and the House impeachment did happen while Trump was still in office. And so ultimately the Senate voted and they are proceeding with this trial. No surprise there, in part because Democrats have the majority and because some Republicans, want to go forward with this. So Democrats are going to lean very hard throughout this entire process, as they did on the opening day, on the emotion of January 6th. They opened their arguments with a really searing and gripping video of scenes from the Capitol during the riots. And they're really trying to bring people back to that moment, reminding Americans that this was a really seminal moment in our country's history, and reminding people of just how violent and deadly this actually was. This wasn't a group of peaceful protesters. This was a group of violent insurrectionists that stormed the US Capitol and seemed to be intent on targeting lawmakers as well as law enforcement. When you talk to the Trump lawyers and you hear from them, they are going to very much focus on the idea that this is just not a process that should be happening. They do not want to get into a robust defense of what happened at the Capitol because it simply is indefensible. They will argue, of course, that Trump is not responsible for that. What's interesting about this moment is that it is unprecedented. We have never done this before. And so there are some differences, because we are talking about a former president, not a sitting president. We don't have the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court presiding. We've got the highest ranking, longest serving senator who's presiding. I think it's really important to note that this is a trial where the jurors were directly affected. That's not something that happens in a normal criminal trial. You would not be put on a jury if you were directly affected by the crime that you are being asked to weigh in on. And in this case, the senators were in the same chamber where they are sitting when these rioters stormed the Capitol. And I do think that question of how they respond, given just how close they were personally to this moment, is one of those questions that's not just about the case before them, but also how this moment will be judged in history.